Thanks for staying with us. Today we're discussing parenting as regards when is the right time to give your child a mobile phone. Many have expressed their opinion that it is crucial, especially these days where times have become quite dangerous, and it's important for you to know where your child is per time. People have expressed the importance of being able to monitor where their children are per time. However, others have said that given the situation of the world where information is easily accessible, and even adult information or lewd information is easily accessible to young people, they would rather refrain from giving their children phones. Others have said, don't even bother until you're an adult, till you're 18 years old, forget about it. What are your thoughts? You can call us on the numbers on your screen to share your own thoughts with us on why do you think it's a good idea to give a child a phone or not. You can call us on 081 0764 1679 and yeah, the numbers on your screen. So let me come to the ladies. The person on the prompter is obviously confused. All right. So what are your thoughts? I mean even recently, one of the actresses, Bisola, was discussing something similar, talking about, I think her daughter, she told her daughter initially that you get a phone at the age of 15, but then the daughter did something and she extended it for another, they're not getting it for another 1 year, you know. And, you know, so that is, and people, she said that people came for her, that why would you do that to your child? And she was thinking that it's my own decision. But others are saying, the fact that I gave my child a phone at the age of 10 saved her life, or saved his life, because she was able to tell me what happened, and I was able to come there to rescue my child. So people have different versions and different stories. What are your thoughts on this? Let me start with you, BC.
Okay, so for me, I don't believe there's a blanket rule on how we should raise our children. The most important thing is that we protect them, protect their innocence for as long as we can possibly, you know, protect them. And that means those things we know that will hurt them, we take away from them. And those things that we know that would aid them, we assist them in getting. And also, it means that we must go further to play the role of observation and supervision, very important. The problem is where parents are not there to observe their children and they just allow them have access to anything to sort of compensate their absence. But with a parent who is mindful, who is there, your kids can actually have some of those gadgets and not be silly with them, right? Because before you even gave it to them in the first place, you already understand their capacities and what they are able to do. And you also put measures in place to monitor what is going on when they are there and when they are not there, right? So me personally, my kids got phones quite early. And because they needed the phones for, initially it was for school, and then after a while, it was the fact that the phones were just lying. So when I change my phones, the remaining ones are just lying there, and I just have to put a SIM so that if I'm outside and I'm calling, you'll be able to pick and respond and all of that. And then when it was time for me to start having conversations with them on the benefits and disadvantages of having the phones, we started having, there's no conversation I've not had with my children. We started having, in fact, when the last conversation we had when we were talking about this, they are non-binary and blah, blah, when they started mentioning names of, you know, some of those things that I've never even heard before, and they were explaining to me, and I was getting their thoughts on some of those issues. So, and also because I realized that my children actually come wiser than their age. I think they took that from their father, right? So there are there's a sort of wisdom that they have, which when I discuss with other children that are the same age, I don't get that sort of wisdom. So I can trust them for certain things. But how did I do it to curtail them? We have times where they are able to use the phones. We have times where they drop the phone. I was having a conversation with my son a few months back, and I said, you are developing an addictive brain because you're constantly facing your game. And now I have to take that game away from you, and I give you specific times that you can have access to the game. And I also tied the phones to projects where you are able to do something and then you get an upgrade on your phone. My daughter is a published author now because I tied it to a project. My son is about to launch his product because I tied it to a project. So I'm not just giving them the phone because I want them to have access to all of those things. Whether I give them or not, they go to school, they have conversations, they can watch from other people, right? I'm tying it to something so that it means more to them than just having access to anything that you want.
Okay, let me come to you, Miriam. What are your thoughts on this issue of when is the best time to give a child phone?
Yeah. First of all, I think there's an age limit, really, when they can have access to phones and also the internet. I think with us, the reason why they got the internet early was during COVID. We had no choice but to go online at that time. And so our children got it. But personally, if we didn't have that period, my children would have stayed, you know, much longer before they had access. So I have a 10-year-old daughter. And we went somewhere and somebody was asking her, oh, what are your favorite TikTok songs and whatever? And she says, I'm only 10. My mom does not allow me to be on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok yet. My mom thinks I'm too young. My shoulder raised up a bit. I was like, yes, you know, that she's able to communicate that. And she knows that in my communication of that, it's not that we hate you, we're stopping you, we don't want you to be part. She realizes because I am too young. And the conversation I had with her was there are some people who don't understand boundaries. Some people who don't understand, you know, how to relate with young people, who will put information that is not ready for a young mind yet. I said, and they are not mommy. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care if you're happy or sad. They just want to do things because they can. And so that's why you're not ready. So I don't have a child who feels like she's missing out on anything. She just realizes, okay, I need to grow up. Even with my son, I always say to him, I said, you're only 12. Your frontal lobe is still developing. There are things you are yet to understand. So with him, it's not as easy. He is much more expressive. I have friends that already have it and things like that. But I'm also grateful for their school that allows them to have phones, but they're not connected to the internet. So you can call your parents, you can have that phone text conversations. And then, but they also have school laptops. And school laptops are monitored, you know, by, there are different apps that they have on it. You know, you're able to see what it is that they're doing on the laptop. You're able to monitor. The truth is, our children need guidance. Yeah. This world of phones and whatever is a big world, and we just need to raise them to a point where we feel that, you know, they're able to, you know, manage some of these things. Now, having done that, having had the conversation and told them, not every child is going to sit down and listen to a parent. There are some children that are rebellious. There's some children that will try it on the side. As much as I have spoken to my children, I am not 101% sure that they are, you know, especially with my son now, that he's not trying other ways. So I also try to appeal to his sense of good judgment. That's why the conversation comes. This is the reason why. These are the things. If I see something, but it also does not stop me from random checks, you know? I check what he's doing. So so that's why I feel that the longer, for me, the best age really, I'm telling you, 18 years. Yeah.
Okay, let me come to you, Adam. Because, you know, before COVID, many of us didn't have that internet in the house. Yeah. It never really was. But it's like, you can't imagine a world without not even having internet, house internet, you know? And the kids are so used to, when there's no internet, they are screaming like, there's no internet, I don't have money. You have not paid yet. Mommy paid and I'm wondering, are you okay?
They don't get
it. They don't understand it. Because so it's become so addictive.
Yeah, it is.
How do we curb this addiction? That's my own problem. I think just like you said, my son is constantly on the phone.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
So for me, like BC said, parenting skills differ, right? Yeah. But then you need to there should be boundaries. Yes. Whatever age, like first of all, certain children mature faster than others, and there should be boundaries at home. Like for my brothers and kids, when I visit them during the week, if in the evening, if I turn on TV, they'll leave the living room. And I'll say, but where are you going to? Let's watch it. They say, no, we're not allowed to watch TV.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Weekdays.
We are not allowed to watch TV during the week, weekdays, as far as it's school week. Yep. We can only watch TV Friday, as after our lesson teacher has gone.
Yeah. And
then during the weekends. That is discipline. Their parents are not even around. Yeah. This is their auntie that they can say, okay, I will get away with anything. But they're the ones telling me that, Auntie Marcus, sorry. We're not allowed to watch TV during the week. I'm so impressed by that. Then, what they usually do is that when I'm around, everybody's dragging my phone. because they know I have internet on my phone. And then but I notice that what they do is that they download games.
Yes.
They're more focused on playing games,
Yeah.
right? Yes, they're more focused on playing games. So I think that what parents should also do as a way to curb stuff is your kids can have a phone because, like you said, you want to be able to track your kids. You can put tracking device on the phones that don't require internet. There are ways they do these things now. As far as the numbers are linked, where the parents can always know where their kids are for safety reasons. And then use the phone that has a camera in case the child is in danger and needs to record something. But other than that, I don't see why a child should have internet on their phone that they're using to move around.
Yeah.
Then internet time access also at home for maybe homeworks and stuff should be monitored. So at home, there should be like a home laptop, or even when the kids have devices, where you should check what they do with that.
There's a perspective that, because I know that I had seen a video with Bisola Yola who was talking about something similar to this. And she was talking about the fact that, you know, her daughter, let me even read it, said her daughter had created a smart chat account on her laptop, which led to her extending it for another year. Now, some people that were criticizing her decision were suggesting that, listen, you are overdoing these things. We're in a new world. The same way when we were growing up, they will criticize you for using the microwave. Like, why can't you warm the food yourself? Or they'll say, can't you wash clothes? And I'm like, I don't know how to wash clothes. I would rather use the washing machine. But they criticize you for exposing your children to microwave, exposing your children to washing machine. Well, what will happen when they get to their husbands? What if the husband cannot afford microwave? What if the husband cannot, you know, stuff like that. But the world is such that has moved. Everybody's using the internet. Everybody's across the world. They're age mates. Teenagers, their age mates have phones, have TikTok. They're everywhere. So why are you making a big deal out of it? That's the conversation we'll dwell on when we come back after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing our culture, our environment, vis-a-vis the global culture, because many of us are practically raising our children for the world. You know, these are children that are going to be going abroad for so, and they just wonder when they go for summer holidays, and you are saying you cannot use your phone, and they are seeing their cousins there, and I'm wondering,
let me give you a story. So when we went, the first time I took the kids to the US, they met up with their cousins, and their cousins are younger because I started birthing earlier than my sister, and they all had tabs with internet. Right, and so it was strange to they were looking around like, our cousins have tabs and we don't. So while they were leaving, my sister bought them their very first tabs, right? But then it didn't have internet when we came back. So they were just using it to be able to play games and everything. And I couldn't stop them from using it because I couldn't explain to them that you're not supposed to have it because you're in Nigeria. So when we started having a conversation, you know, the phone conversation, it was Oga that bulged first. It was the one that said, allow these kids to have it. They travel, they meet their counterparts. What we can do is to monitor. I was resisting at the time because I didn't have the energy to monitor. But he convinced me that we must monitor them. So these phones that we're going to be giving them now, we must monitor them. And I said, you're putting the work on me because you're the one that is going to your work. It's me now that is the mommy that will be left to be doing the monitoring. And I was not ready. I argued. He found a way to convince me. So I knew that the work now became double. Because now I have to check, I have to cross-check. And I was sort of blessed that my kids have a way of understanding my perspective. I have different conversations with them, even conversations on the universe with them. And they get it, right? So I had to explain that we must have ground rules for these phones to fly. And that's where I'm coming to. You cannot have such gadgets in your home without ground rules. And you cannot also say that if you want to, you don't want to give your kids, that's fine. But if you want to give them because of the world that they are in, they go to certain schools, they have certain conversations with their friends and all of that. And you don't want them to, I didn't want to raise children who will feel deprived of things that somebody else can use to entice them tomorrow. So what I can do is to give them that confidence that you can have it, but there are rules to the game, and you must abide by the rules, or we take it. So when we started with the phones, they have their hours where they are able to do whatever they want to do for just a few hours, and everybody drops their phone in my room. And then when we are at a table, everybody drop. In fact, I collect my husband's phone. Drop your phone in this basket. We're having family time. Because I realized that we are now missing out on conversations because everybody had to hold their gadget. So those rules are what would help you you know, keep the sanity while you're also not losing out on some of the things because
I like
the times are
you
moving.
said, where you said that we have to, it's about the monitoring part.
Yeah.
Because I know that I had strict rules, very strict rules. Same thing, you don't watch TV during the week. They all works, you know. In fact, I put my help in the house as police. They know the rules when you're going to be on the tab. Auntie Blessing must be able to see what you're doing. So no, I don't want you to be sitting in a way where it's covered. When adults are passing, they must see what you're working on. So sit here. So, you know, I have those rules, but unfortunately, I have not monitored. No. I've not been available, been present enough. So those rules have been lax. Because usually, during the week, I come back home and I'm seeing that the TV is on. Usually, I'm like, so usually I'll say, why is the TV on? But now,
you're tired.
I'm tired. I go right upstairs. So it's about, if we're going to put certain rules, it's also about us parenting.
Yeah, doing the work.
Making sure that we're doing the work to monitor, to check, to be sure that our rules are being adhered to, not just...
Or else, no need.
So with more privileges come responsibilities, definitely. The children also need to understand that. So what I think is important to do is when you say, don't do this, what should we be doing instead? So it should not only be about taking out, it should also be about putting in. This is reading time. I want you to take a book and read. So after your reading time, then you have your TV time, or after your TV time, then you have your computer time, you know. And so it does not, so when you say you can't do this, they're not sitting there and say, okay, so what do we do now? But this is reading time, that's why we are not able to do that. This is chores time, that's why we're not able to do that. So the child needs to be involved in one thing or the other, routine. Now, concerning the phone, so we're talking about phone specifically here for this conversation. And I don't think that not having a phone at the age that my children are will make them feel left out or not at par with their mates. They have the computer. They have access to the computer. They use it for schoolwork, and they're able to, you know, do other things with it. They watch television during television time, and they listen to the news. They read their books. In fact, for me, in my house, it's more important for them to understand that you don't need to have everything everybody has. This is your house. These are your rules. These are your values. And I hope that you're confident enough to stand with someone that says, oh, you don't have a phone. Say, yeah, in my house, we don't because of this. I feel proud about it, you know, because there's a reason why you don't, and it's not. I have 2 callers on the hold. Maraka first. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, madam.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. The age limit to... Hello?
We can hear you very clearly. Please go ahead.
Okay. The age limit to get cell phone to our children is between 20s and above. And I know of my daughter before we went to get her a phone. It was already 20 years old before we got admission to higher institution, because I'm making my duty to all of them because I have 3 kids. So all of them, even my little boy who is 19 years, I have no phone. So it was fortunate that since the telephone has become to Nigeria users, everything changed in our countries. All like before, when we have 90 in our home, things were not so bad as it is today. Now, if you say that, it's even after that, today, most of our parents, they give their, what they call, this small children keyboards, just like food. And they see it, they go beyond what we are seeing as a parents. So therefore, don't.
Oh, Marika, we didn't hear everything you said, but thank you so much for giving your comments. I have another caller who's been holding. Good morning. Oh, we lost that caller. Let me come to you, Amaka, because it's summertime. The kids are going on break. Parents are worried that what do I do? Because that's all they do. You go to work, the TV is on, and you're trying to put routine. We are really trying to make an effort to do this, but
you're not there.
You're not there.
Follow up.
So it's so difficult for kids to actually, my daughter has her small group of people. They call themselves Girl Power. So they now created a WhatsApp group using my own number. So I'm the one getting all the messages. So I get home at night. I say, Auntie, your people have been chatting. Please come and take the phone. And she only talks to them when I get home. Yeah. But throughout the day, they're all bantering and talking. Michelle, you're not answering us now. She said, I don't get the phone until maybe 7 when my mom gets back in the evening. But I know that this is summer holiday. She's not telling me, Mommy, can you leave your phone? How can I leave my phone? It's my work phone. But the kids want to engage. They're now growing up.
Yes,
they want to have small communities, small tribes, you know, and we see them. So it's not all bad. In fact, there was one group meeting they had. One of them was having prayer meeting. Let us pray together. They finished praying. Okay, now let us study. What have you read? And I'm wondering, it's a good thing. As a parent, I'm wondering,
it can be.
Did I, you know, so there's always that, should we not, you know?
So, like, I like what Mariam said in terms of, like, that.
Oh, Danny, can I pause you? I'm sorry. Boniface is back. Good morning, Boniface. Thanks for calling. You're live. Hello, Boniface.
Morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. What I want to say, in respect to what you said, is that other people, other children of the world are having those gadgets. The truth of the matter is that I don't compare myself with any or allows my children to be compared with other children. Your children cannot be like other children. I don't compare myself. So therefore, the best thing you should do is to do what work for you. Whatever that you see that will work for you or work for your children, go ahead and do it. Instead of you comparing your children with other people's children. Okay. That is not proper, and that is what I just want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Boniface. Maka, let me come to jump in here. Your thoughts?
So, like, from what Mariam said, like, you know, this is my home, this is our rules, and it's okay, right? I was raised that way. So it's not about a child having a gadget or not having a gadget. It's about the values instilled in your home. That's the most important thing here, right? Because, like, I have my young cousin, you met her at Cambridge, right? The sister, you know, she's gone through, they've studied abroad, they did their masters, they're working. And then I tell her, I said, why are you not on any social media platform? She says, because it's not for me. It affects my mental health. There's peer pressure. It's just not for me. So I'm not interested in that. So it's important to
make her own rules.
Yeah, make her own rules. There's no peer pressure. She feels that she doesn't need to post anything. She does not want to see those things because they affect her. So it's important to raise kids that know who they are.
I love that.
They have certain values. So it's apart from that peer pressures or their competitions or things happening in the world, or who is your child? Does your child, like, growing up as a child, I love to read. So if there was, I wasn't a TV person, I was more into books. Like my sister, the son is about 4. And they just gave him the congratulations for having read over 1,000 books.
Amazing.
As in, at 4.
Oh, my
so
Lord.
those are the things that, so what are you doing as a parent in your home? Like, as in, what values are you creating? And then it's also important to, this is something my parents did so much. I have a lot of confidence, to create that confidence in your child that regardless of what you see, my mates are smoking, they are drinking, we're teenagers, it doesn't matter. I don't drink, right? And then people say, oh, but Maka, you're so what's up? You're constant. I host a lot. Yes, I have a lot of drinks at home. I'm constantly giving people alcohol. But when I go out with my friends,
you're not drinking?
Yes, but when I go out with my friends, I'm the life of the party. And people, they say, you don't drink. I'll say, no. They'll just look at me. I say, yes, but I'm a fun person to be around.
You're high, naturally.
You know, I love that because I think this practically concludes this conversation. Because I saw a video that the greatest gift you can give a child is self-confidence. Yeah. That's the great, any parent, when you give your child confidence, there is nothing that life throws at that person. They are able to decide and choose right from wrong because they know who they are. If they want to indulge, let me just take a bit of it. And they can say, I don't like alcohol. Oh, I like it, you know, and they can choose. But they are adults. So it's not so much about, don't do this, don't give them this. It's about who that child has become, who they are. Because life, eventually, they will have the internet. Yes. Eventually, they will get the phones. Eventually.
They may even have it under your nose. You don't know.
Exactly. So the truth is that it's that self-confidence, which you just talked about, who that child is, that really helps in this matter. Let me take a few calls and we wrap up on this. Good morning, Femi. You're live. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Mariah. Good morning.
Morning.
First time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Quickly to this matter, yes, the children can be identified in classes. The ones who are self-actualized and are well-parented, and those that are open to the suggestions on the internet. First is, take a look at China. They didn't become the developmental and industrialized nation that they are by just allowing their children to go on TikTok and expose their bodies and be engaged in any kind of nonsense that we see our children perpetrating on the internet. Government and parents educational institutions also have a role to play in this matter. They should, under every guise, just like the Chinese do, use the internet for the positive aspects of it at a certain age. Then the child can decide, okay, maybe at the age of 18, I don't want this kind of restrictions anymore, and they are allowed to use the general open phones. At primary school, the children are taught how to do, how do you call them, boards inside computers, carpentry. They enter competitions, and they post, those are the things they are posting. Positive things can only be taught to children. If you leave them alone, they will be under the pressure either of peers or bad parents or bad friends or bad friends from the parents, and we cannot afford to leave them open. The damage is already done.
All right.
You can see what the hookup thing has caused. Children dying and being preyed upon and being murdered everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Femi. Any comments on social media as well?
Yes. So September Production says, do what suits your family. Oh. Make una borrow sense in all these decisions. What works for one may not work for another. Shikina. Virtuous Woman says, BC, monitoring is very important when it comes to young children having privileges of having a mobile phone. Don Yax TV says, children should be allowed to connect properly with parents. Phones will not support that process. Parents need to understand that it's very important to bond with their kids first. Just Reason says, as long as the children understand the values in the rules created and let them develop the sense of responsibility, as opposed to preventing them from using phones or TV, help them manage their own time. Jules says, please do your home to ensure that it works for you all. And
okay, I think we can wrap up on that. All right. So that's all we can take on this segment. I think in a nutshell, really, everybody's home is different. You do what beliefs work for, but I think it's really crucial that all of us raise our children to have that self-confidence so that no matter what life throws at them at the time, they're able to make the right decisions. Let's go on a short break now. We come back, move on to our next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.